So winter can be beautiful in the garden, but it can be brutal as well. So last winter I made a few mistakes that I've got no intention of repeating. So I lost all my broad beans for the second year running. I damaged my cauliflowers, and I even pruned my apple tree so badly that it didn't produce a single blossom in the spring. So today I'm sharing my winter garden mistakes, what went wrong, why it happened, and what I'm doing differently so that you don't have to learn the hard way. This is my brassicas. As you can see, all the leaves are curled up. I think they're just protecting themselves. So it got me thinking, how do plants protect themselves from this severe cold? Well, apparently what they actually do is they build up their amino acids and sugars, which form a kind of antifreeze. So it lowers the freezing point. And as you can see, all these hardy plants are doing okay. So I've come in the greenhouse to shelter from the rain, and it is really cold again. It's not as cold as it has been, I have to be honest, because we had some real hard frosts. So that has thawed out a bit, but it is still cold. And I'm getting nowhere fast. Any little job that I wanted to do is just hampered by the weather. So let's talk about my first winter mistake. Now this is using the wrong or no winter protection at all. So if I start with one that costs me the whole bed of broad beans. It's really coming down now. Depending on what the noise level's like, I'm going to try and soldier on. So there are different types of netting, and netting is really good for keeping pests out, but it does absolutely nothing for the cold. And although some plants are actually brilliant at protecting themselves against the cold, broad beans in particular are quite hardy, any extreme frost is going to kill them. So I protected my plants with netting instead of fleece, and they are not the same thing. So you have to really think about what you're protecting them with. Well, I have been misguided, let's say. I've got this kind of netting. Many of you have probably seen these sort of tunnels. They're not too bad because they're quite thick netting, and they're low down, so it does keep the elements out to a degree, and if the weather's not too bitterly cold, that will be enough, that will be sufficient. Now the issues I encountered was when I foolishly swapped over from those low tunnels to a much higher netting system with hoops and Enviromesh when the plants had outgrown the lower tunnels. Now it kept out the pests, it kept the snow off them when it snowed, but the wind can blow through them, and it is just not going to afford them any protection whatsoever. And I think if I had perhaps laid fleece over the plants under the netting, they might have had a fighting chance. So if you do decide to grow any crops over the winter months, then you really need to consider the correct protection for them. Now, Horticultural Fleece is ideal because it creates air pockets to help keep the plants warm, and I wish I'd used that now. I used it on my potatoes, the Christmas potatoes, and it did protect them from the frost. They grew really well, but unfortunately they got blight, so you kind of exchange one problem for another. But I think with the broad beans as well, if only I'd used the fleece just to drape it over the plants under the netting that I had put up, they might have survived, as I've already said. But in the greenhouse, this is what I use. This is really handy as well. This is the large bubble wrap that you get in packaging. So I always keep this. And then what I do is all these plants are covered up at night, and it's getting quite chilly now, so I've got to cover them now. I cover them up with this, and even if I forget to take it off in the morning, it's okay because it's transparent and the light can still get through. So as you can see, using the wrong protection is not only costly, but it's an awful waste and very, very disappointing. And I've learnt my lesson, and you're never too old to learn. So let me know in the comments below what tactics you use and you employ in your greenhouses and in your gardens to protect your plants over the coldest months of the year. So this is the first year really where I haven't grown any overwintering broad beans, onions or leeks, all for the same reason, in that they just didn't thrive. So having said that, the garlic's in because unlike the other plants, they actually need the really cold temperatures for the bulbs to split, and they have done really, really well. We have had some very cold temperatures, we've had some hard frosts, and they've done fine. Whether I net them or not, I haven't decided yet. They're okay at the moment, so I'm going to just leave them be. But I think my winter garden looks very, very different, and I think we really do need to heed climate change and adapt. There is a distinct change. The weather patterns are different, and it's been really noticeable over the last few years. But let me know in the comments what your views are on this. I'd be really keen to know what you think. So mistake number 2 is a real gaff. And it's all about pruning my cordon apple tree. Now this is a young tree, and I learned this year the hard way that I actually didn't know what I was doing. So I attempted to prune it in the winter, and what I wanted to do was to cut back the excessive growth, to keep it nice and compact, and let it refocus its energy. But what I didn't realise I was doing was I was removing all the fruiting buds instead of the leaf buds. So come the spring, I had absolutely no blossom and therefore no fruit whatsoever. So I'm nervous about doing it. It desperately needs pruning again now, because it's getting very straggly, and that's not what you want from a cordon apple. But what I do know now is that the fruit buds are much plumper, and if you look at them very closely, they've almost got like a downy fur to them. And the leaf buds, they're pointed and they're closer to the wood. So do I chance it? Perhaps I'll have a go. So looking closely, that is definitely a fruit bud. So is that, and so is that. Unfortunately, they're on really long stems, too long to keep. So I'm going to have to cut them back anyway. But I believe these are all fruit buds, and they're on short stems, so I won't touch those. I won't touch this one because that's fairly short and it's in the right direction. But I'm still going to have to sacrifice some. Oh, I'm not keen on doing this, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I've done the right thing or the wrong thing, but this is it now. See, I think this one should have been cut right out, but it's got a fruit bud on it, and because I didn't have any fruit last year, I think I'm going to let it fruit next year and then maybe cut that right back. And then I've got a very long leader, and I wasn't sure whether to cut that back. So if anyone is an expert at pruning cordon apples, let me know whether I should cut that bit back as well. So my next mistake, and this is a classic, it is starting your seeds too early. Now this is all too common because in late January, early February, you might be feeling really tired of winter and you've noticed that the days are getting slightly longer and spring seems really close. So it's easy to get excited and to start planting your seeds way too early. Now the issue is that when the light is still low and temperatures are cold, your plants are going to grow tall and they're going to grow weak, and that means they're not going to be healthy and you're going to end up wasting your seed and your soil. So now I wait before planting most things. So my new plan is that I will sow my broad beans in February, as well as my chilies and peppers. I shall wait till March for my tomatoes, and then everything else will probably be sown late March, early April. So those were my biggest winter garden mistakes. But what I have learned is that doing things the same way every year isn't always your best choice. Sometimes we just need a new approach, and I'm still learning every year. So I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on this. Please leave me a comment below. And I am getting very, very close now to 3.5k subscribers. So if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and help me reach my goal by Christmas. So stay warm, everybody. I'm Annie, and this is my kitchen garden.